Good afternoon. My name is Alisa Slazinska, and I work for the City of Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. Welcome to the BACP Business Education Workshop Webinar Series. On behalf of our Commissioner, Rosa Scarino, I want to inform you that we are still open for business. Business licenses can be processed online or over the phone where applicable by visiting chicagobusinessdirect.org or calling 312-744-6249. We know that this is a difficult time for all Chicagoans, and we want you to know that we are here for you. We have adapted our regular business education workshops at City Hall into these webinars until further notice. Visit our resource page for City of Chicago business, consumer, and employee information for impacts of the coronavirus at chicago.gov/BACP COVID-19. Today's webinar will be Cutting Through the Clutter, Understanding Options to Navigate Your Business During the Pandemic, presented by ChiBizHub. BACP enjoys a long-standing partnership with ChiBizHub, an initiative of World Business Chicago. ChiBizHub is dedicated to supporting Chicago's small business community. Now more than ever, ChiBizHub is working hard to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic that threatens the life of small business owners, employees, customers, families, and communities. We invited ChiBizHub to join us today to give us an overview of the business resources and support they offer Chicago's small business community. I now turn this over to Kendra Thomas, Business Resource Manager of ChiBizHub.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alisa. Definitely appreciate you allowing us to take time to share our resources. So as Alisa mentioned, my name is Kendra Thomas, and I am one of the business resource managers for ChiBizHub. Just to give a little brief background of what ChiBizHub is. ChiBizHub is a free online portal that launched in April of 2019. And the portal is free for entrepreneurs and business owners to connect to resource providers in their communities that can help them either start, scale, or grow their businesses. To date, ChiBizHub has 162 resource providers that are available to help the entrepreneurs and business owners. And this platform serves as a one-stop shop. So what I would like to do now is just show everyone how they can actually access the website. We can go to www.chibizhub.com. And once you log in, you will be able to search for a variety of things. So one is you'll be able to search for a resource provider. That will be in the resources section. You can go to find a resource, and you're able to search by zip code, as well as you can search by the area of assistance that you're needing. Also, if you know the actual name of the resource provider that you're trying to locate, you can also type in their name as well underneath organization name. Once you do a refined search based on your search criteria, the actual platform will filter the organizations that are available to provide you with assistance, and it will be filtered based on what your criteria is. So if you put in your zip code and you want resource providers that will be within the 10 miles or 25 mile radius of your home, those will appear in that order. Once you go there, you can actually select which resource provider you're interested in having assist you, and it will provide an overview of what that actual company's organization can do, what are their specialties as far as what do they specialize in. In addition to that, it will also have contact information listed, so the organization's point of contact, phone number, and email address and website will all be listed. Another place I would like to show you all on the website is our newsletter section. So if you have not had the chance to sign up for our newsletter, we'll show you in a second where you can do that as well. But every month we have a newsletter spotlight. And if you have not had an opportunity to review or look at any of our previous newsletters, they are all housed under newsletters. We highlight local business owners as well as our resource providers to highlight and showcase the work that they're doing in their communities to help entrepreneurs and business owners. So there's an example of our March newsletter. Commissioner Rosa Escareno was our spotlight for the month of March for Women's History Month. And then we also spotlighted Ms. Rachel Ivy, who's the Executive Director of Communities Empowered Through Construction. And then one last thing I would like to show you all on the homepage. If you have not had the opportunity to sign up for our newsletter, you can actually scroll down. And in the middle of the page, there's a sign up for newsletter section where you can enter your first name, last name, and your email address. And if you're a business owner, and I know that a lot of businesses have been impacted during this time, if you're looking for information on resources that can help you during the COVID-19 pandemic, if you scroll up to the top of the page, we have a COVID-19 resource page that gets updated hourly with resources that are available for entrepreneurs and business owners. So if you have not had an opportunity to review that page, please do so. There's sections there for financial assistance, employee and family assistance as well. So if you or anyone you know are in need of these resources, please have them visit our COVID-19 page as well. So that concludes a little of what I'm actually sharing about ChiBizHub, and I would like to actually turn it over to one of our guest speakers today, Mr. Manny Flores, who is President and CEO of Summer Corps, and he's going to just share what Summer Corps is doing to help a lot of these businesses during this time. So thank you so much for joining us today, Manny. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Very good. Kendra, thank you so much for that introduction. I want to begin by thanking the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection for the City of Chicago, as well as ChiBizHub and World Business Chicago for putting on this webinar. Briefly, I just want to introduce myself. As Kendra indicated, my name is Manny Flores. I'm the President and CEO of Summer Corps. Summer Corps is a non-for-profit organization. We're a nonprofit lender headquartered in Chicago. We've been in business since 1992, and we are what is a certified development company. What that means is that we are authorized by the Small Business Administration to make loans to small businesses, primarily under the SBA 504 loan program. But for today's presentation, I'm going to be focusing on the various relief measures that are available right now through the Small Business Administration. Before I continue on with the essence of our conversation, just want to remind people to be very careful about fraud and scams that may be proliferating right now. Unfortunately, we are seeing a number of individuals maybe trying to take advantage of the crisis by trying to get these borrowers to for services that are made available at no cost through resources such as World Business Chicago, ChiBiz. If you have action webinars or any applications or processes, I highly encourage you to visit the SBA website. We have information on those links later in the presentation. But I share with you, just unfortunately, we are hearing from of business owners and individuals that there are unfortunately people who are trying to take advantage of the current situation. So we'll look at that. So for today's conversation, we're going to be talking about the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, that's as EIDL, as the Paycheck Protection, which is another loan program that has just come online recently to help small business owners deal with the current corona crisis. And we also are going to talk briefly about SBA debt relief programs and another particular loan to help small businesses better manage cash flow and liquidity challenges, the SBA Express Bridge Loan. So if we can go on to the next slide, please. So the Economic Injury Disaster Loan is a program that is facilitated directly by the Small Business Administration. So if you are watching us, listening to the program, you would have to apply for this loan directly online. You could apply for it through mail, but the recommended application process is to do so online. There is a link that is provided, and you'll see that on the deck right now, the deck slide right now. It is a streamlined process. If we can move to now page 6, it is a streamlined process that the SBA has now provided. The loan application, the form is online. Once you apply for the loan, you are going to get a reference number. And we want to keep that reference number because that is going to be your guide and your record for when you are contacted by the Small Business Administration concerning your loan. Next slide, please. Now, I recommend that as part of the process when applying for this loan that you actually download the hard document first, the application, go through the application, review it, answer those questions, and then do so electronically. What you want to avoid is beginning the application process, having a problem online, losing it, and then trying to retrieve that information. What we've been hearing from folks is that retrieval process is not a very smooth one right now. And so I would encourage you to have all of your information already written out so that your entry is done smoothly. Now, if we can move on to the next slide, please. The Emergency Injury Disaster Loan Program also allows for a grant of up to $10,000. And this is in advance that the SBA is trying to provide within 3 days of applying for the loan. However, I want to caution everyone that the volume right now is very high. Processing times are longer, and we are asking for everybody's patience. We recognize that we are dealing with very challenging times, but I think also managing the expectations is important through this process. The most important thing, though, to do is to ensure that you apply for this particular grant. Now, in the end of the day, the Small Business Administration personnel will determine how much money you are eligible. And that is going to be in large part based on the losses that you provide, how your business was particularly impacted and economically injured as a result of the coronavirus. It's important to note that in order to be eligible for this particular benefit, your business will have to have been in operations prior to January 31st, 2020. Now, if you have any, the other feature to note about this particular initiative is that you are eligible for this money even if you had been previously declined for the Emergency Injury Disaster Loan. Now, we've included the website here, the page that you would visit to apply. If we can move on to the next slide. Now, we've provided here some terms of the EIDL loan for you. It is a loan that is up to $2 million. The use of funds for this particular loan would include paying fixed debts, payroll, accounts payable, and other bills that couldn't be paid because of the disaster's impact. Now, if you are a nonprofit, you are also eligible for this particular loan. The interest rates do vary whether or not you are for-profit or nonprofit enterprise. For the for-profit enterprises, it's going to be 3.75 and 2.75 for nonprofit businesses. Now, this loan, it's important to understand that there will be an underwriting and a credit review of the application. So it's important to have your documentation available. You may be asked questions and through an interview process with the Small Business Administration loan officer who will be contacting you. And right now, what we're being told, it's anywhere from 21 days to 30 days. and done during the processing period. So as part of the emergency injury disaster loan, there is a term of up to 30 years, and that interest rate is fixed. The other feature to note is that the first payment on this loan can be deferred of up to 1 year. If we can move on, please. Now, as I was indicating before, the idle loan criteria here, you have to have a credit history that's going to be acceptable to the SBA. The repayment, the SBA must be able to determine whether or not the applicant has the ability to repay. Now, obviously, the SBA recognizes that within the context of the disaster, that your business will have already suffered some kind of an impact. They do take that under consideration during the underwriting process. Now, there is a collateral requirement under this loan, and that is for any loans that are for more than $25,000. Now, if you do not have collateral, that will not be a reason to disqualify you, or that will disqualify you from being eligible for the loan. However, if the SBA finds that you do have collateral that you can make available, and they request that collateral, and you say no, well, then that would be a reason to decline on the loan. If we can move on to now page, the next slide, please. Now, to keep the presentation moving forward, I want to go into a number of FAQs that are asked. One of them that comes up frequently is, if I own multiple companies, how many applications do I have to fill out? Well, technically, each company should be filling out its own application, must have its own separate tax ID number. Another question that comes up frequently is, who is the applicant? Is it the individual or is it my company? It's going to be the company. Next slide, please. Startups, oftentimes people are concerned whether or not their business that they just started, let's say that they were just in business a month or 2 months prior to the outbreak of COVID-19. The SBA has indicated that as long as you are able to demonstrate some connection to the losses that your business has suffered to the COVID-19, that you would be eligible. Again, the analysis there is going to be a review of how your revenue was impacted, whether or not you were doing business with other companies that were negatively impacted and somehow had then a direct negative impact on your business operations. They will take that into consideration in the review process. Another question that comes up is, what happens if I am denied under this application? You are given up to 6 months to provide new information and to submit a written request for reconsideration under this loan. Next slide, please. We can continue. Okay, now I'm going to be moving on to the Paycheck Protection Program. But before I do that, we have heard from folks that they've been receiving conflicting information about, well, if I apply for the Paycheck Protection Program, there's been questions about whether or not that individual can apply for the economic injury disaster loan. And the answer is you can apply for both loans. Now, the rule on that particular matter, though, is you cannot use both loans or monies from both loans to pay for the same expense. And we'll get into that shortly. But again, if you have a question as to whether or not you should apply for both loans and you need the capital to be able to continue your business, the recommendation is that you apply for both loans. Now, the Paycheck Program is a loan that is actually provided for through an authorized 7A lender, typically a bank that is already certified as an SBA 7A lender, or they're also non-depository institutions, companies that also provide 7A loans in the market. These companies would be eligible to provide the Paycheck Protection Program loan. If we can move on, please. The the Paycheck Protection Program loan is unique in that it is a loan intended to promote the payment of employees who are going to be on your payroll. And the idea is that during this crisis, the SBA wants to be able to provide a resource to keep folks essentially on the payroll during the crisis. Now, the program also allows for the use of funds to be paid toward your mortgage and your rent, and we'll go into that shortly. Now, in terms of the application process, as I indicated before, this program is not administered, the money's not provided by the SBA. It's going to be provided by your banker. So the recommendation right now is that you contact your business banker to inquire about the program and the application process through that particular bank. Now, I will, unfortunately, what we're hearing right now is that the bankers are primarily focusing on individuals already have an existing banking or client relationship. That being said, if you find that your particular bank is not offering the Paycheck Protection Program loan, you can also go onto the SBA website. There is a list of lenders that is provided that may be participating in the Paycheck Protection Program. If we can move on to the next slide, please. Now, with the, and I'm going to start referring it as the PPP loan because Paycheck Protection Program is it's a tongue twister. So the PPP loan, unlike the emergency injury disaster loan, there is no review on the credit here. It is a program that's basically going to be focused on your payroll, what your payroll costs are, mortgage, lease, utility payments, and it is essentially a streamlined loan application that you will be presenting your bank. What we have been told is that the borrower is going to be required to maintain these records, and it is the responsibility of the borrower to certify good faith in the application request. So we can move on now, please, to the following slide, the loan forgiveness slide, please. So as I indicated before, the one feature of the PPP loan that is geared to provide the greatest amount of relief is the actual forgivable component, and that is calculated by taking a look at what your payroll costs are. Now, in order to be eligible for the PPP loan forgiveness, 75%, at least 75% of the funds have to be going toward payroll. If they are not, you will not be eligible for the loan forgiveness component. And that is for essentially making a payment of at least 8 weeks. So it covers 8 weeks of the payroll under this relief. Now, again, as I indicated, it is the responsibility of the borrower to provide the lender the documentation that verifies this information. At the end of the 8 weeks, when you apply for that loan forgiveness, there will be a review to ensure that these funds were actually used to cover payroll. If we can move on, please. And in terms of, so the loan use of proceeds, again, this is very important, especially for the borrower, to make sure that the borrower is maintaining the proper records here. We're looking at salary, wages, commissions, or tips. Now, if someone's making more than $100,000 in your business, they're not going to be eligible for anything. You're not going to be eligible for anything up to or beyond $100,000. So the program is capped for each employee at $100,000, and that will be then calculated in the overall computation that you will see shortly. If we can move on now, please. So the loan size calculations, we've included a slide here. You're looking at step one. You're going to have to figure out the aggregate payroll costs, which we define here in the presentation, and we'll talk about that shortly. But you're looking for essentially what the last 12 months for employees. And there have been questions about whether or not to include 1099 individuals in that calculation. And the rule is one that's frankly, it's based on whether or not the 1099 individual is going to apply for herself or himself. 1099 employees or 1099 individuals are also eligible to apply for the PPP loan on their own. So if that individual is going to be applying on their own, they will not be then calculated for this purpose under your company's calculation in determining what those aggregate payroll costs are going to be. So I raise that because that is an ongoing question that we are seeing during this process. And it's one that, again, the employer is going to have to track to make sure that they are providing accurate information. Let's move on. Now, the maximum loan size for this under the PPP loan is $10 million per small business. There is an interest rate of 1%. Now, for anything that is non-forgiven under the loan, you have up to 2 years to pay it back. And there is a deferment under this program, and that deferment is for up to 6 months. Now, the loans right now under this program, the money is available through June 30th of 2020. Moving on, please. Now, another question that comes up is, what is the size of the business that's eligible under this program? What I would recommend everyone to do who listens is to make sure, so that there is no question, is to go onto the SBA website, where they provide standards for each classifications of industry and businesses, and it is referred to as the NAICS code. The other thing that I would highly recommend is that if your business, if you are using an accountant, if you have an attorney to assist you with your business affairs, that you coordinate with your accountant, that you coordinate with your attorney to make sure that you are filling the application properly, and also taking into consideration the implication on your taxes, and making sure that you're calculating for payroll properly. You also want to make sure that those trusted business advisors who you rely on are also included in this conversation, to make sure that they also have it for their own records in the event that 8 weeks, 8 weeks from now, when you are trying to certify, that you have some records there in place ready for you, and that there is no confusion as to whether or not you properly followed the program. If we can move on, please. I would also recommend visiting the Department of Treasury, their website. There's actual guidance for PPP borrowers, and there's also guidance for PPP lenders. Highly encourage that you take a look at that guidance. So again, it is this is information for you so that you are accessing the right information to assist you during this application process. Now, if we can move on, I've included here a number of FAQs. I'm not going to go through them all. You'll have access to this PowerPoint presentation. I would like to go to, if we can skip now to near the very end, we talk about the SBA Express Bridge Loan. This particular loan is not getting a lot of attention. However, it's one that someone should keep in consideration, especially if you need money right now. This is an express bridge loan. It is intended to provide you fast capital so that you can keep your business open until you get the proceeds from the emergency injury disaster loan or the PPP loan. It is a loan of up to $25,000, maturity of up to 7 years. You have to repay it. Will be repaid in full or in part by proceeds from the economic injury disaster loan. The loans can be made up to 6 months after the disaster declaration, and there's no collateral that's required on this loan. Now, in order to access this loan, though, you would have to go through an authorized 7A lender. Next slide, please. The other provision that I wanted to discuss was the SBA Debt Relief. The SBA 7A loan program, the 504 loan program are very, very popular. You have tens of thousands of businesses who have already taken these loans. And as part of the relief that the CARES Act is providing is essentially it's the SBA is paying for the loans of these individuals for the next 6 months, starting in April through October 1st. So for the next 6 months, businesses who already had an existing 7A loan or 504 loan or even a microloan, they will see their payments be made by the SBA. And this obviously will provide much needed relief to our businesses who are already SBA borrowers. Now, these businesses need not take any action, at least through the 504. The 504 program, there's an ACH system that's developed, and the borrowers doesn't have to take any action. The system's already been set up in such a way where no money's taken out from their ACH through their ACH, and payments are automatically made by the SBA. I also, if we could move on to the last deck, just again, the rules are changing. It is a program in flux, and we've been telling everybody, as obviously someone who has been working with the SBA, that it is recommended that you connect with the SBA through their website. The SBA is also hosting webinars, and we recommend that you also participate in their webinars as the programs continue to evolve. We'd also just remind individuals that this is a national program, and the volume is very high, and so it's patience is something that will help all of us get through this process. And that if you have any questions, you can contact the local Illinois SBA district office, as well as the SBA Disaster Customer Service Center if you have any questions on your emergency injury disaster loan. And if you have any questions about SBA lending in general, you can certainly contact me, mflores@summercore.com, or you could also visit our website at summercore.com. So I want to say thank you so much again for the opportunity. I want to now introduce my friend and colleague, Taron Smith. Taron?
Thank you, Manny. Thank you, ChiBizHub, World of Chicago, BACP. Thank you for just giving me the opportunity to talk about what 37 Oaks is doing in the community to help a lot of businesses through COVID-19, but also sharing some of this other information, which I think is very valuable to them. So again, my name is Taron Smith, and I'm founder and CEO of 37 Oaks. 37 Oaks is a local consulting company, and we focus on commerce, innovation, and economic development. Our sole purpose is to really work with small businesses and entrepreneurs to really help to strengthen and revitalize our communities through commerce. So a lot of the businesses that we work with are home-based businesses. They have storefronts. They're in restaurants and cafes, or they're making shea butter products from their homes. So as you can imagine, over the past couple of weeks, we've really been talking to a lot of our businesses and helping them try to just bob and weave and pivot through these chaotic times. Our sole mission and what we do is that we educate and we prepare these small businesses and entrepreneurs for diverse growth and distribution. So whether or not that's growing through an e-commerce site, a brick and mortar site, wholesale, or even mobile retail, which we consider pop-ups and food trucks. So a lot of what we've been talking to them about has been, how do you grow your business or even sustain your business throughout these times? So some of these solutions that we brought to market are to really help the businesses do that. So today we're going to talk to you about 3 different solutions or programs that we have out to really help the businesses do that. The first one is called the Master Small Business List, and you could visit this through 37oaks.com/support small. And what this list is it's really trying to bring light to all of the small businesses and entrepreneurs that are open and ready for business, and we want to get you in front of the customers and some of the residents in our neighborhoods. So when they're ready to make a purchase, they have a very simple option to support small and to buy local. So here's a way to access the list, which is a free listing for you. If you go to 37oaks.com, you'll see in the header a drop-down menu that says COVID-19. If you click on that, then you will see an option that says Master Small Business List. Once you get to that site, as I said, this list is completely free for all small businesses and entrepreneurs in the Chicagoland area and beyond. And the cool thing about this is that you're able to post your neighborhood, and anybody could search for you by neighborhood. So if you have some residents that are looking for a quick option to pick up a sandwich for lunch, or to have a sandwich delivered to them, or if they're looking for some hand sanitizer that's produced by a local business, they can come here and do that. So once you get to this site, you click on List Your Business for Free link, and then it'll take you to a form where you probably could fill it out in less than 30 seconds. It's not complex at all. As you fill out the information, just make sure you put your business name, your category name, your street address if you want them to know where you're located, and the neighborhood that your business is in. It doesn't mean that you cannot promote your business to other neighborhoods, but sometimes customers want to know, are they shopping local, and is this option right here in the neighborhood? So make sure you put down your neighborhood, of course, your city and state. And if we go to the next slide, as you slide over, you'll see an option for how they can order from you. So this is important to put down either your phone number, your website, URL, your Facebook link, however it is that they can get in contact with you. So please fill that out completely, and then list how they can retrieve the order from you. So do you deliver? Is there curbside pickup? Do you ship? Is it carry out? So this is the information that they will get from you in order to know how they're supposed to connect with you. The other part is that if you have any information that you need to change on there, because possibly you uploaded the wrong information, there's also a link on the site for you to submit a info change request form, and we tend to get on that within 24 hours. So it's a really great resource. Let's go to the next slide. The other great thing about this is that we have some amazing community partners that are helping us get the word out, not only to businesses and entrepreneurs like yourself, but also to the residents that are in their community. So great shout out to World Business Chicago and ChiBizHub, which is like our prime partners. But we also have community-based organizations in a lot of the communities within Chicago. So definitely lean on them. There are also resources for you throughout this whole COVID-19 pandemic scenario. So definitely just connect with them as additional resources, but just know that you have not only 37 Oaks, but also a lot of our community-based organizations that are helping to push this out. So again, this is located at 37oaks.com/support small, or you could go the way that we showed you through the 37oaks.com website. Next slide. The second solution and service that we have is called what we call the Bob and Weave Support Center. So we call it Bob and Weave because that's what a lot of our businesses are doing right now. They are trying to bob and weave and make it through these times to sustain their business and even grow their business beyond COVID-19. So you can access this Bob and Weave Support Center at 37oaks.com/Bob and Weave, and I'll take you through what some of the resources are here. So one way that you can access it outside of going directly to 37oaks.com/Bob and Weave is to also go to 37oaks.com, click on that COVID-19 drop-down menu, and then click on Bob and Weave Support Center. Once you get there, what you'll see here is our support center, and we have kind of 3 areas in here. One is our small business tips, which we'll talk about. Some options for us to discuss them and go into more detail, and then also some additional resources. So the small business tips I think are really cool because we weren't trying to recreate the wheel here with giving some options and solutions and thought starters on how to navigate through the COVID-19 pandemic and any impact it has on your business. We wanted to focus specifically on like retail and commerce related businesses. So businesses that are selling products to customers, whether they're online or in a restaurant or through carryout or delivery. It doesn't mean that some of our service businesses can't take advantage of these principles, because some of them are just basic business principles, but we really wanted to put together some resources specifically for our product-based businesses. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see that we have about 9 of them. These are just number 5 and number 6, but we have about 9 of them in total. And the cool thing about this is that it's not just information that we're giving you, but each tip has a link that kind of guides you either to a resource or a framework or a template or something that'll help you actually execute that. So we don't want to just teach you, we also want to help you apply the information. So definitely take a look at 37oaks.com/bob and weave. If you are a product-based business, whether you're a restaurant, cafe, or again, if you're selling shea butter out of your home, a lot of these tips will be really beneficial for you as well. As you scroll down, you will see that for each of these tips, what we like to do is about 1 to 2 times a week on 37 Oaks Instagram site, we will dive deep into one of these tips and we'll bring on a subject matter expert for that tip. And we'll have about a 30-minute conversation where we're really like peeling back the onion and getting to the nitty-gritty of what this challenge is and what this tip is recommending that you do. It's very open, it's very free-flowing. We accept questions, we talk about the realities of what's going on today. So you can find a schedule of these upcoming Bob and Weave discussion tips at this Bob and Weave Center that we have at 37oaks.com. And then last but not least in this section, again, we don't want to recreate the wheel. So we wanted to post links to resources, ours plus other partner organizations for a lot of retail and product-based businesses. So of course we have the Master Small Business List that we talked about here, ChiBizHub, but even some resources from like the National Retail Federation. They have some great insights and tools for you to tap into. We have some technology partners that we work with. So if you are a business and you have like a POS system and you're trying to quickly sell online, one of our partners that sells POS technology is giving you a free way to quickly start to take online orders. And that's just a free program from them. They're not trying to replace your current POS system. It's just a really great program. So we have a list of those down there. Again, these are solutions for retail and commerce businesses, but I think that you'll find that very beneficial throughout these times too. So again, you could find that at 37oaks.com/Bob and Weave. The third solution that we want to talk about is the Small Business Continuity Program. This one we're really, really excited about because a lot of the small businesses that we work with and entrepreneurs, they may not have had a lot of their business online. Most of their business has been through pop-up shops or maybe through stores or local markets and festivals, which is great. But considering the time that we're in, we don't have a lot of those scheduled or as many of those scheduled as we want to. So how are they going to thrive? So through our one of our brands, which is called Saucony, this is more of our business to consumer, direct consumer facing brand, we have this program. And you can find this information at sauconystore.com/keep-selling. So I'll tell you a little bit more about this. So when you go to sauconystore.com, you will see, again, this is an e-commerce site. It's not new. It's been around for a while. We've just kind of adjusted our normal offering for this COVID-19 situation. So if you go to sauconystore.com and at the top, you click sell. And once you click on that, you'll see a drop-down menu that says Small Business Continuity Program. Next slide. And once you get to this page, this program is basically a quick e-commerce solution for small businesses and entrepreneurs that are impacted by COVID-19. And it's really intended to reduce the time, the barriers, and the burden of selling online. So we know that in order to have an e-commerce site, it's not just build it and they will come. This is a whole business model. That's why some businesses just start off with going online. So there's a lot of parts and pieces in order for you to have a successful site. And we're taking a lot of that burden off so you can just get up and running quickly online. And the cool thing about this, if you go to the next slide, is that not only are we providing the platform for you to sell your products, But we have a brand also called 37 Oaks University, where we have over 30 courses that are teaching you about distribution, about commerce, and about retail. So we're taking a lot of the courses from our e-commerce series and we're overlaying it into this program. So after the 3 months of the program, you will then be able to start your own e-commerce site or just grow through e-commerce on your own platform. So this really is a launching pad for you. But it's a great opportunity to not only get the education, but also to apply the learning so that you can grow after the program is over. If you go to the next slide, right now we're working with a lot of our community-based partners to roll this program out. So there's an interest form that's located at sauconystore.com/keep selling. So it's a quick form that as we get this rolled out, as we come to your neighborhood, we know to reach out to you because you're interested in learning more. So really just highly encourage you to go to the site, just read about the program. If you have any questions, you could definitely contact us through sauconystore.com or through 37oaks.com or on Instagram and Facebook. We're very reactive with messages there as well. But these are just some of the resources that we have for you. So make sure you follow us and stay connected. So as more resources come out, you won't miss a beat on that. I don't think we hear. Okay, there you go.
Thank you so much, Taron. I greatly appreciate it. So Manny and Taron, thank you for taking time to actually be our guests. You've been very, very, very helpful for us, and we appreciate all that you're doing for small businesses during this time. So please remember to definitely follow them on Instagram, on Facebook. They are also active on LinkedIn. They have great information that they're sharing. Special thank you to Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. Thank you for your continued partnership. They are one of our resource providers as well. So ChiBizHub appreciates all that they do. Definitely continue to stay posted. We will have future webinars. And then don't forget to visit www.chibizhub.com/COVID-19 support to continue to see what resources are available for small business owners. Until our next webinar, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.